What's going on with everybody, man? Um, Welcome back to another stream. As we know, with what happened yesterday, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that's been coming out about the club over the past 24 hours since the disrespectful result once again at home that we suffered. Only saving light in that game was João Pedro's bicycle kick goal in like the 92nd minute, which was a fantastic consolation goal, right? But since that, we've just seen so much come out, and like there's just like I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right into it, man. I mean, where do we begin? I guess we can pull over here first, right? You know, I don't want to talk about the game too much because there's not really much to talk about. Jesse Derry seems like he's going to be okay. He suffered a nasty head injury yesterday from a corner kick. The second ball that he went after gets effectively knocked out in midair and wasn't moving. Game stopped for about 10 minutes, and it was very concerning. It was his first Premier League start, and that's not how you want your first Premier League start to go at all. But in doing that, he was actually the best performer on the pitch in the first half for Chelsea. And, if he had played the whole game, maybe he would have made a bigger impact on the game than he already was individually. But the rest of the team as a whole was just god awful, right? I watched a lot of videos yesterday from the Chelsea community, small YouTubers, big YouTubers, particularly from the small YouTubers that aren't getting as much traction and as much like of an audience. And I paid attention to what they were saying, and they're absolutely right about the squad, man. This squad is terrible, and the state that it's in mentally, it's in the bin. So there's not much that you can really like criticize these players for anymore, because what you're seeing on the pitch is what you're going to be getting probably for the rest of the season. And I guess you can talk about the FA Cup final. A lot of Chelsea fans are still looking forward to it because they still feel like there's hope that we can beat Man City, who drew yesterday to Everton 3-3, which if Arsenal beat West Ham at the weekend, they will be Premier League champions. So, and Spurs may not get relegated. I mean, as life as a Chelsea fan right now is very, very, very rough. Like, you don't want to see your London rival win the Premier League, and you would want to see Spurs get relegated if you're a Chelsea fan, right? But at the end of the day, we're playing worse than Tottenham, and we're definitely playing worse than Arsenal. Arsenal are 28 points ahead of Chelsea at the time of this recording, bro. And when it's all said and done, Chelsea may end up being 32 to 34 points back of Arsenal at the end of the season, when we finished 5 points behind them last season and 2 points behind Man City. That shows the precipitous drop off that this team has had, bro. Like, really has. But if we're gonna go over here real quick, I want to touch on the criticism that Trevor Chalobah is getting, and honestly, it's rightfully so. I mean, the one YouTuber I watched yesterday summed it up perfectly. The guy's slow. He can't run. He marks space rather than marking his man. And as a result of that, right? And the background, as you guys see, is BlueCo out. It's BlueCo out, bro. Like, all day, every day. It's a simple message here. BlueCo out, get the hell out of the club. But we go over here, right? If Gusto trusted the center back in front of him, he wouldn't have done this, but he remembered how, I don't even know how to say his name, Awani scored the first goal. Then the fraud ahead of him about to do the same crime again. So he took action himself. Trevor Chalobah has learning difficulties. And honestly, you take a look at this image right here. Why is Malo Gusto having to be the guy? Now, he didn't have a good game yesterday. I thought it was stupid to pull him in the first place because the cross coming in looked like it was going to head out of play anyway. But why is Trevor Chalobah ball watching and marking space rather than actually getting on the player that he's supposed to be guarding, right? Because he doesn't know how to play center half. He's not a center half. At Premier League level, at least. He's not a center half. So this right here is just more evidence that this club needs to get certain players like him out, Malo Gusto, and I don't care if he's a Cobham boy, a Jehovah's son, whatever you want to call this guy. Trevor Chalobah is making the case more and more and more in why certain teams did not come in for him during the transfer windows that he was available. He went on loan to Palace last season. He comes back, has a good second half of the season, like Chelsea did. But this entire season, he's just been, in my opinion, horrific. Horrific. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this right here, man, it's just criminal. It's criminal, bro. You can't be doing this kind of shit in the Premier League and expect to win games. But again, I'm not surprised. This team has been a shambles of itself all season, bro. Well, particularly since Enzo Maresca left. And we can talk about Enzo Maresca. I'm showing you guys like the background I have here. 2 billion, 4 years equals no clue. BlueCo out. Please. These signs need to be present at Wembley. These signs need to be present at Anfield as well. Chelsea go to Anfield at the weekend, where in my prediction, I think we're gonna get absolutely wiped off the playing surface there. Chelsea will lose that game 5-0. There's no hope that they're gonna beat Liverpool at Anfield. Now they lost to Manchester United. Very good game. Man United looked very good, but they blew the lead in the second half. Kobe Manu steps up, fires a nice shot on goal to give him the 3-2 lead. And what a guy to score. He's been facing a lot of criticism. He's been facing a lot of questions on whether or not he'll be there next season. Kobe Manu showed why he's going to be at Man United next season with that goal, bro. Honestly. Then we're not going to talk about the Real Madrid stuff yet because it is very interesting what's going on there right now between Mbappe, the fans, ownership, and everything like that. They don't have the same issues as Chelsea, obviously, but when you have dressing room issues and when you have fans wanting certain players out, a lot will be said. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this shit right here, man. So Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher gave a brutal analysis on Chelsea. From Thierry Henry, a guy that probably the only Arsenal player that I actually respect, that I actually like fuck with in a sense, right? He's considered the greatest Premier League striker of all time. I wouldn't say no to that because he was just a fantastic player. Wherever he went, he was a great player. It's been a roller coaster season. Coaches and players coming and going. It's been the story of Chelsea for a very long time now. I never thought the Chelsea I played against would be in this situation, losing 6 in a row and only scoring once. The Chelsea teams that Thierry Henry used to go to gave him fits. Now, he played well against Chelsea generally, but from a guy that played against prime Chelsea, against the Mourinho Chelseas, right? Against those particular Chelsea teams, he knows what Chelsea really is. We all know what Chelsea really is, right? Jamie Carragher, they had the right man in Enzo Maresca. I was impressed by what he did. At that club, there was no one more powerful than the directors. Once you have a manager who starts winning trophies, understandably, his ego grows. He starts wanting more power. That's normal, and it is normal. When you win silverware, you're going to be like, okay, sure, I want to be able to get certain players in through the door to take us to that next level, because Chelsea weren't that far away really from challenging from the Premier League, given the season they had last season. This past summer was supposed to be the summer that you bring in those players to push on for the bigger trophies, the Premier League, the Champions League, and trying to get your hands on one of those, on either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, right? I'm seen as this guy who doesn't like Chelsea. I was on this show saying players need to stop signing for Chelsea. What I meant by that was, if you're continually buying and selling players, you never build something as a team. You've got to go through things together as a team. They buy 2 wingers every year. You need to grow up. You need to grow as a group with the manager. This is a conveyor belt. That is the point I was making. If I was a young player, why would I sign? If I wasn't amazing, then in 12 months, they buy someone else. Right? And then they go on about it right here. At one point, you can see Arteta getting more powerful at the club because it looked like he was going places. They gave him the money, and and team he won. Look at them now, and look at Arsenal now on the verge of winning the Premier League after their 4th attempt of trying. They might actually get it done this season, right? Jamie Carragher, Chelsea supporters dislike their own club right now in terms of their ownership and the players. Getting beat 6 times with 1 goal, there's something lacking. We're talking Chelsea. We're talking about Chelsea here, by the way. This team is used to winning the Premier League and going far into the Champions League. 2-time winners also, bro. 2-time winners. And the battles that Chelsea and Liverpool used to go through in the mid to late 2000s in the Champions League, like, that's Chelsea, bro. He would know. Thierry Henry would know. Chelsea was a team that effectively beat Arsenal at Highbury to end their unbeaten run, in a sense, right? They effectively ended Arsenal's reign at the top of not just Europe, but in England. And then you saw the birth of Chelsea as we all know and love, not CFCLDN. The people at the top of Chelsea have to look away from the manager. Do we have too many sporting directors? Everyone knows who they are. The cameras are always on them. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, bro. Like, this message is directly a shot at you. Like, it's just a reality, man. Like, it's really, really sad. And then if we pull over here, I'll get to this. I'll go into more detail in a second about Xavi, but Xavi Hernandez is under consideration for the Chelsea job. Chelsea want to persevere with a coach of similar principles, which Xavi has come into the conversation. That also includes Xabi Alonso, Francesco Fioroli, I believe that's how you say his name, Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas, however, is not expected to leave Como this summer, and he did come out with an interview about that right here. And like, this is the part here that really got me, right? This first part right here is exactly why top managers are not going to come to the club. He takes all the football decisions. The sporting director, he's day-to-day with me, and we see football the same way. I'm so happy and lucky that we have a president that trusts me a lot and has given me the confidence to go and take all the football decisions. That, for me, is really important. That alone is going to deter a lot of managers from actually coming to this club. It really, really is, right? So, again, it's not surprising that managers are not going to want to come to this club right now, right? So another thing that we need to talk about here, and this is why I keep saying, why did we sack Enzo Maresca, bro? because this stuff right here is why, like, it frustrates the hell out of me. The feeling is that Chelsea have made significant progress in instilling a football identity that is now visible in the academy right down through the age groups. And that was one of the values of Enzo Maresca, was that his teams typified this approach. Chelsea consequently want to persevere with a coach of a similar principle. So why did you sack him? If you want a guy that has his ideas and his principles, why did you sack him? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, it just does not make sense, bro. I'm the best YouTuber ever. Hey, I mean, I got a lot of work to do, bro. What's going on, man? I mean, I got a lot of work to do on that, but I'm trying my best with it. I just like to give my unfiltered opinion about what's going on here, because I feel like a lot of Chelsea fans, a lot of football fans, period, really don't go as raw as they should. Maybe because they're monetized or whatever. But at the end of the day, when something you love is getting systematically destroyed, you need to be able to speak on how you really feel. And there's certain people out there on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you get your news from, right, that just don't say what really needs to be said. And it doesn't matter if you're monetized or not. You should just be able to say whatever you want to say, bro. So I appreciate that comment, man. I really, really do. But it's like, why did we sack him in the first place to get a guy? And it says right here, it's like, it makes me laugh, but not like, oh, like, I'm happy. It's like, it pisses me off, right? You want a footballing identity that typifies Enzo Maresca's approach. So why did you sack him? Because the owners are a bunch of pussies, bro. The sporting directors are a bunch of pussies, bro. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are. And I'm not afraid to say that. But it seems like a lot of people on here just don't want to call a spade a spade. Go ahead and call it out for what it is, bro. The ownership and the sporting directors are pussies. Once a grown man comes in there, wins something, and he says, "You know what? I want a couple more players in there," and then you basically get rid of him, and then you're feeling at odds with him, and then you're saying that there's going to be a review on him at the end of the season, and you part ways in January because he spoke out. Yeah, bro, you guys are a bunch of pussies. Learn how to take some fucking criticism, man. Honestly, like, learn how to take some freaking criticism, right? Trying to find the other piece I had here on that. Yeah, here it is, right? Xavi is under consideration to become the next Chelsea FC manager. I mean, how are people feeling about that, bro? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of a Barcelona man coming into the job, honestly. But I mean, it's like, we all know that none of these guys right here are going to end up coming. Xabi Alonso would be my pick out of these three now, because Cesc Fabregas has effectively ruled himself out of the running for the job. My whole thing is, I would take Xabi Alonso, but it's like we said, he needs more control over what players come in and out. But these owners aren't going to do that, right? They're just not. And the sporting directors still have to report their findings to the owners. The sporting directors are not going to be the ones reporting to anybody. It's PR with what they're saying, guys. It's not going to be, oh, well, we found him, and him. But then the owners are going to be like, okay, like, I appreciate your input, but we're not grabbing these guys. We need somebody who is just going to follow orders at the club. And that's exactly what we've been hiring. Enzo Maresca, Pochettino weren't going to fall for that. And that's why they're no longer the manager at Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel, the same way. Thomas Tuchel left early yesterday. I think he left in like the 65th minute, but a lot of the fans were leaving after the 20th minute yesterday because of the atrocity that we keep seeing on the pitch, bro. Right? And it's like, I just keep asking these questions on, like, why did we sack him, right? No reason for it. We pull over here. Chelsea do not want to rush the appointment and will make an announcement after the end of the season. Names on the shortlist include Andoni Iraola, Marco Silva, and Xabi Alonso. Thierry Henry, I saw a quote yesterday, says like Marco Silva would actually be a good appointment for this club because there's a structure, there's a clear identity on how he wants to play. Yes, they played Arsenal. Yes, they got absolutely killed by Arsenal, but a lot of teams are going to lose to Arsenal at the Emirates, bro. Right? But Fulham right now are level on points with us. Fulham right now could effectively finish higher in the table than where Chelsea is right now. I'm not saying that Marco Silva is an elite manager, but who do Chelsea fans want at this point? Because no elite manager is going to come through this club and actually change shit around unless they have some type of say. Marco Silva is going to want to have some type of say on what players come in and out. Every manager is going to want that. Every single manager. So again, who do Chelsea fans really want? But at the end of the day, BlueCo has to leave. They have to sell up. Aries management, I'm knocking on your door, bro. Can you guys please save this club from absolute fucking despair? Please. Like, that's all I'm asking for. Just step in. Right? Then we pull over here, which gets me even more annoyed. Chelsea sources have said they didn't want to make a change at the start of January this year before Enzo Maresca's exit. So why did you sack him if you didn't want to make a change? If you would have departed ways in the summer, it would have went over a lot better, probably, with the players being at the World Cup. And then also, it gives you time that if you're going to get rid of him in the summertime, it gives you time to assess your options to see who to bring in next. But the thing that Jamie Carragher said that I've been saying is you need to be able to have a manager in there and the players in there that can continue to build the identity that this club was lacking. Pochettino was building that at the end of his only season. Enzo Maresca built the identity in a season and a half. And you guys get rid of him because he speaks out about how he doesn't get help from up top. That's not by accident. How many different managers have we had in the past 4 years? 6. I have a video uploaded on my channel about that where I'm talking about the managers that have come in, and You can't have 6 managers in 4 seasons and expect consistency. These players want a consistent manager, somebody to play for, somebody to win stuff for, not just for their personal careers, but also for the manager, right? These players were playing for him. I keep on saying that, but people still want to have this agenda against Enzo Maresca, where he's like, oh, I hated him because of the substitution patterns. His style of play was boring. He ruined the mentality of Cole Palmer. He didn't ruin the mentality of Cole Palmer, bro. Cole Palmer has been shit realistically since midway through last season. There was a stretch in the season last year where he didn't score from January until that penalty against Liverpool, bro. That was almost a year ago. He showed up during the Club World Cup, sure. But since that moment, we're still looking for Cole Palmer, bro. Mentally, physically, and honestly, emotionally. Where are you at, bro? You know, I saw something from CFC Mod too, where he says, we need to be patient with Palmer. It reminds me of Eden Hazard in 15-16, where he was injured for a majority of the season, and then he comes back the following season, ends up being the player of the season, right? Cole Palmer's not at the levels of what Eden Hazard was, because Eden Hazard won the Premier League the season before that and was player of the year before that. And he proved his worth already. Now, Palmer won 2 trophies last season, got us into a Champions League spot, sure. But come on. Palmer has dropped off significantly this season, bro. That may have to do with his injury crisis. That may have to do with him mentally. And the team around him has just been awful. But you watch him play yesterday. He's playing off the right-hand side, where I've said that he may be better off the right-hand side. But at the same time, you need to go out there and actually go put in a performance, bro. You missed the penalty yesterday. People are saying that it was a great save from Matt Sells, and it was actually a good penalty. It was not a great penalty. It was a horrible penalty. Why? Because if Cole Palmer is in form, he's adding more power to that penalty, and he's a lot more accurate. He's a lot more accurate. Now, there was a period of time in between the head injury and the penalty, which can throw players off. But at the same time, when you've only missed, I believe, 2 penalties in your Premier League career, you should be putting those in the back of the net. I don't think he understood the assignment in that moment. And it's like, if Palmer's not going to step up, give the ball to Enzo, a guy that is the captain on the pitch. Enzo Fernandez should have pulled rank yesterday, in my opinion, and taken the penalty over Cole Palmer. Given the form he's in, Enzo Fernandez probably would have bagged that goal yesterday. And it may have been a completely different game. But we can't go back and change the past. I'm giving my opinion on what I would have done. If I'm the manager, I would have told Enzo, no, you need to go take the ball off of him. It doesn't matter if he's the main taker. You're the captain on the pitch. You need to pull rank, bro. That's what he should have done, right? That's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, this again, right? Like you didn't want to make a change in January, but you did. Have some accountability, honestly. Like really, you just have some accountability, bro. So we pull over to this quote from Ali McCoist. The club is being ran very, very poorly. The recruitment has been diabolical. They've fallen off the cliff. Something within the club is rotting away, to tell you the truth. The decline off and on and off the pitch has been quite remarkable. And it has. And there's only one solution, guys. There's only one solution. Get these clowns out. That's it. That's it. That's all you really need to do. Just leave. So I also want to pull over here to what John Obi and Mikel said. Let me go ahead and do this real quick.
DNA, that culture. So they can get upset as much as they want. And I will keep saying it. Chris, the club can get angry with me as much as they want, which I know they do. But I'm only saying it from a good place.
You're disguised now getting into Stamford Bridge, aren't you?
I'm only coming from a good place.
Of course, because you care.
Because I care for the football club. I was
what
there.
Is it? No one's bigger than the club.
Nobody's bigger than a football club. I gave my all for the football club.
Not even the
For
owners.
11 years. I sacrificed. I missed important people's in my life birthdays. I sacrificed for the football club. I gave my all. We won titles. We were successful. I'm coming from a good place. The players, the sporting directors, the owners, they can get upset as much as they want. But I am coming from a good
Let me
place. I
pause
want
right
to see
there
us
about
continue.
when he brings up the players. I think, to be honest with you, man, the players are going to be on the firing line at all times because they're going to be the ones that are going on the pitch trying to get the result. And when you start attacking the players and stuff like that, I don't think that it's tricky because he did play for the club, right? But I think John Obi Mikel also knows and understands that these players are being directly affected by how the club is being ran. And that's not on the players anymore. It's on the sporting directors, and it's not even on the managers. It's on the sporting directors and the ownership. That's what it really is. So the players are going to feel away, obviously, because club legends, former players are going to speak out about how they're seeing things. But I think the players also understand that they're not entirely at fault for what's going on above them. Honestly, I like that.
To be successful. If I keep my mouth shut, it means that I'm happy with what's going on. I am not. I'm not saying win today, win every season, but show some sense of direction that we're moving forward, that we're pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
That we want to continue to be successful.
And when you get the objective that Enzo Maresca was supposed to be targeting, which was just getting into the Champions League spots, he exceeded that by winning 2 trophies, right? So at that point, you go out in the transfer market, the owners have the money for it, and you go get the necessary players that Enzo Maresca is asking for. A goalkeeper, a center half, another attacker, maybe one more midfielder in this team to really push on to actually go compete, because the preseason poll was that Chelsea could challenge for the Premier League. Chelsea could go deep in the Champions League. Chelsea will be in the top 3 of the Premier League. I had them finishing, before the season started, I had Chelsea finishing 2nd in the Premier League, just behind Arsenal. We are now going to be sitting at the end of the season, in my opinion, probably 30 plus points back of Arsenal when we finished 5 points behind them last season, 2 points behind Man City. A couple results go our way. We probably finished 2nd or 3rd last season. So they were going in the right direction after the Club World Cup. The only problem was these owners weren't going to pay the wages that these top players are asking for. And if you want top players at the club, you need to pay them top wages. But when you have Champions League, you should be able to get a few 3 or 4 top players into the squad to help out these young players push on. But nope.
The DNA of the football club is gone.
It's not the Chelsea.
It's not same Chelsea that I know. It's not same football club that I love, that I played for. And that's why when you're bringing in new players, young talented players, you need a voice. You need somebody who's been there, who knows the football club, who can straight away tell you what the football club means.
Yep.
The culture of the football club.
This is why you need club legends at the club. You need Petr Cech at the club. You need John Terry at the club, bro. You need these cats at the club, bro. You need a Thiago Silva on the coaching staff, bro. You need these cats there. Felipe Luis, who, in my opinion, should be a dark horse in the running for the Chelsea job, in my opinion. He posted something on his Instagram yesterday with all the Brazilian stars that were at Chelsea under the Roman Abramovich era, and they're all holding the Premier League title. One of them is holding the Champions League. This is what I'm saying. You need club legends in the club. You absolutely do. To at least show what the club is about, what the badge is about, what that crest actually means, right? These fans that are being shown on screen right now, right? Look at the smiles on their faces, bro. There was doom and gloom. There's been doom and gloom at Stamford Bridge for the longest time, bro. We haven't seen a smile on people's faces at the bridge in years. We just haven't.
Of the football club, what the football club stands for, the community of the football club, the fans, what the fans stands for the football club.
Exactly. And it goes for fans worldwide, bro. It goes for fans worldwide, and it's well said. It's very well said with everything that he was talking about. Yeah, and I'll pull up the quote that he said here. And like it's really this. The club can get angry with me as much as they want, which I know they do, but I'm only saying it from a good place because I care, and he does care. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a follow, to be honest, because I do need to follow him. But John Obi Mikel is coming from a good place. Petr Cech is coming from a good place, bro. Frank Lampard is coming from a good place. John Terry is coming from a good place, bro. Drogba's coming from a good place, man. Thiago Silva is covering his eyes in horror because he cannot believe how far this club has fallen. Thomas Tuchel is leaving early from the game yesterday to come watch Cole Palmer and some of the England cats in the squad. He has to leave early because he can't believe what has happened to the club he won the Champions League with. He can't believe it. Nobody can. It's despicable, bro. It really, really is. Right, we'll pull over here. John Obi Mikel revealed on his podcast that the club is angry with the public criticism of the ownership. Good, yeah, absolutely good. They're feeling the pressure. Never stop ridiculing these clowns. And yeah, never. Thank you, my love. Oh yeah, that looks insane, bro. We'll take a look at what my baby girl made me. Some of this looks like beef with some macaroni and some sauce. Oh, bro, this is gonna be smacking after I'm done with this stream, bro. Where'd that go? Anyway, but yeah, never stop clowning the clowns, bro. They need to get out. And again, I did this yesterday, and disrespectfully, I said respectfully, disrespectfully, bro. Get the fuck out the club, Eghbali. Go fuck yourself, man. Please. Aries management, step in. We need you immediately. Go ahead and pull over to this right here from Frank Lampard.
Wasn't there enough. Standards collectively had dropped. I can be honest about that, particularly that it's my last game. I might not see some of them that much anymore anyway. But the standards as a collective for a club like Chelsea have to be at the maximum. And at the minute, you know, when I came in very quickly, I could see that wasn't there enough. Standards collectively had dropped.
You're talking about probably our greatest ever player at the end of the 22-23 season saying that, and he saw it 3 years ago. When are these owners going to actually wake up? They're going to wake up and realize they need to sell. Like, they're going to need to sell. It's over. All right, and then we pull over to more PR bullshit. Multiple sources say Chelsea are going to change their strategy slightly and buy more experienced, mature players. This does not necessarily mean they will be significantly older, but that they are more ready-made. So you're going to see players that are similar to like a João Pedro, who's the player of the season, and he's an exceptional player. You're going to probably see players around the age group of like a Caicedo, and Enzo, right? That are already made in the Premier League, but they're probably like mid-table players. And I'm talking about the age bracket. I'm not talking about quality. That's how far we've fallen, guys. That's how far we have fucking fallen, man. It's a disgrace, guys. It's a fucking disgrace, man. Also here, go ahead and where are you? Here. Got this piece right here. 2 more protests have been planned by Not a Project CFC. If you haven't, go ahead and give them a follow on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on X. One before the FA Cup final against Man City, and one during our game against Spurs. More info on the following slides. So it says here, following our recent protests alongside Strasbourg fans and the impact of the BlueCo out dividend, I think. We are now confirming further action at 2 key games before the end of the season. The FA Cup final. A large banner will lead the march, focusing on not just BlueCo out, but also the sporting directors, which should be like front and center, realistically. And then the other one is the game against Tottenham at home. In the 22nd minute, every single fan is going to be standing up and turning their backs to the pitch for about a minute. They're taking the action inside of the stadium. I think at a certain point, it won't just have to be back turns or turning your back to the pitch. I'm not for this, and I've never been for acts of violence, but I'm more or less about, I think the fans need to get on the pitch and actually send a message to these owners while they're on the pitch, because the owners are going to be at the FA Cup final for sure. But I'm more talking about the game against Tottenham at home, one of our fiercest rivals in the Premier League. I think a severe message will be sent if the fans get on the pitch. That enough is enough. We saw it, I believe it was a few seasons ago, where Man United were supposed to play Liverpool at Old Trafford, and the fans got on the pitch before the game, which set the game back, I believe, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, because they needed to get everybody off the pitch and make sure that the entire scene was safe, in a sense. If it takes fans storming the pitch and sending a direct message to these owners and sporting directors that they need to get out, then it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Because there's not going to be enough police presence and security presence at Stamford Bridge if 42,000 fans get on the pitch. There just won't. These owners are fucked. They can continue to put out PR. They can continue to put out shit through third-party sources, through journalists or whatever. It's over. Nothing you guys say or do is going to change what is going on. Nothing. It doesn't matter what players you sign. It doesn't matter what manager you bring in. You guys need to get out. Period, point blank. Period, point blank, bro. Right? And then I didn't see this yesterday. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it. I saw the picture of Morgan Gibbs-White, though, bro. It was crazy, but Robert Sanchez will undergo in-house assessments at Cobham. He'll miss the Liverpool game if he fails to check. If he fails any of the check stages, his wasn't a concussion sub, but concussion protocol still has to be followed this week. And I mean, basically, stop buying tickets, stop buying merchandise, stop attending matches, continue to criticize the board on every platform. That's what I'm doing here, sir. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch. I'm about to expand this to Instagram and Facebook in a few weeks. We're going to continue to push this message across all platforms. I love this club too much to see it get driven into the ground the way that it is. So that's why I'm getting on here with the platform I have and getting it out there. BlueCo out, right? And then if we actually take a look at Morgan Gibbs-White, bro, or that's Robert Sanchez here, seeing that you came out worse than me, hope you're feeling better, man. And look at that, bro. There was a still shot of the collision where you can actually see the inside of his head, bro. It was nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. But I'm glad he's okay. I mean, I don't know if he's going to play on Thursday after that kind of collision, but they're going to need him if Forest want to get to the Europa League final, which at this point, I may just favor them slightly over Villa right now on Thursday. Justin, Chelsea players face a hit up to $2 million each if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Well, a lot of these players are gonna see a significant pay cut. Look at this. That's crazy. This is why players probably also want out because they're not getting paid right. But that don't really care. But they don't really care, do they? Saw a stat that Brighton a few weeks ago also ran 7 more kilometers than Chelsea did. It's crazy, bro. Chelsea players are on course to throw away 20% salary bonuses and millions of pounds in lost bonuses by missing out on Champions League qualification. Yeah, it's sad. It really is. But if we're going to go ahead and pivot away from Chelsea for a second, I do want to talk about Kylian Mbappe, bro. Now, over the past few days, there's been a lot of stuff that's come out about him, his teammates, the dressing room, the fans having a petition, like it says right here, right? An online petition signed by Madristas to get Mbappe out of the club has now reached over 1.2 million signatures. Look at that. They needed 200,000. They went almost 6 times that amount. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. But the this is nuts, dude. Right? So I just want to know how people are feeling about Mbappe and the rift, because there's been a lot of stuff talking about how he's gone to Italy to go get something done for his knee injury, and his teammates weren't too happy with it or whatever. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but this is what I'm going to say about this man right here. He's not Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's put that away now. He's not Cristiano Ronaldo. And in my opinion, he'll never be that guy. He's won a World Cup. Cool. But can you point to me in any other thing that he's done outside of just scoring goals? He's a great player. Fantastic. He's world class. He's one of the best players in the world. But I feel like Mbappe has single-handedly ripped up Real Madrid. He doesn't lead the press. He doesn't run when he doesn't have the ball. And when he has the ball, he's very, very, very selfish, right? He doesn't look to link up with players. The only player that he really linked up with well was Neymar. But Neymar is the kind of guy who can deal with a personality like Mbappe. Vinicius Jr. can't do that. Jude Bellingham can't do that. Rodrigo can't do that. Valverde can't do that. There was a video I saw on Mbappe. I think I showed it on stream one time, where the progressive passes that he has when he receives the ball from specific players in midfield, he doesn't look to link up after that. He looks to just dribble, drive at the drive. And when you're a left winger of his quality, you should be able to try to link up with your center forwards, with your midfielders to create more space for you. For Mbappe's case, he's playing with a Vinicius Jr. who wants to play in the same space, who wants to operate the same way, and wants to be able to create chaos off that left-hand side. I think Real Madrid are going to have to make a decision on which player they actually want to keep. They signed Mbappe on a free. Now, it's not going to happen, but if they decide to say, you know what, we want to sell you, what team is going to come in for him for the fee that Real Madrid would want? The guy would easily be the guy would break the transfer record, bro. it will shatter Neymar's record of, I think it was 224 million when he moved from Barca to PSG. If he were to get a move in the summertime or at any point, particularly this summer, teams are going to have to pay north of 250 million. Easy. Or it's non-negotiable, which means, are you going to sell Vinny? What team outside of Saudi Arabia is going to come in for either of these two? In my opinion, I think Real Madrid made a mistake in signing him. And I felt like he should have came a couple seasons earlier and really pushed for the move. Instead of signing that extension at PSG, he should have just pushed for the move to Real Madrid a few seasons ago. Ever since he started professional football, even before that, he has been always linked with the move away to Real Madrid. I just don't see a world where him and Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham are all going to be in the same team in the next 2 years. I just don't see it. One of those three players is going to end up leaving. And in my opinion, if you want to get the maximum value, you sell Mbappe. But are they going to do that? No, because there's too much investment in him. There's too much money been spent on him. But I think to make Real Madrid, because Real Madrid haven't won any major silverware, bro, in 2 seasons now. When was the last time that we said Real Madrid haven't won major silverware, bro? In 2 straight seasons? That's unheard of. So again, right? Should Real Madrid look to cut their losses? I want to know from people in the comments, bro. Really? So I pulled over to the Madrid extra page. I'm not a Real Madrid fan, but because I'm talking about Mbappe, I need to be able to dissect what's going on here, right? Real Madrid have zero doubts about killing Mbappe. The club's focus is to turn all of his goals into a collective success and in winning trophies. I mean, he's having a great individual season, but he needs to look to get his teammates involved a little bit more, and he needs to be able to run off the ball. This is the problem that Enrique had with him at PSG. He doesn't press. So when you see your best player on the pitch not pressing, what do you think the rest of the team is going to do? They're going to follow suit, because if he's not getting told something, then I don't have to do it, right? Real Madrid maintained that the squad is very good. There will be signings and departures, but no revolution. If you say so, bro. Confirmed, Real Madrid believe that Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe can still form a strong duo. The club is now focused on a new manager who can make it work. They play in the same position. I don't know how it's going to work. Real Madrid have now set an objective of channeling Kylian Mbappe's full potential into the benefit of the team. The players also is also the first to be aware that things need to change. I mean, you need to change your attitude on the pitch, bro, and you need to be able to press. Like, when you're seen walking and then you're seeing your central midfielder like Valverde having to go press the ball because the striker's not doing it. And it's like I said, he's not a center forward. He's a left winger, bro. Real Madrid need a striker in the summertime. That's what they actually need. But then are you going to push Mbappe out to the right, or are you going to push Vinny out to the right? You still got Rodrigo there. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like they have 2 players in the same position that want to do the same thing, and they're in a huge identity crisis right now. Real Madrid are searching for a manager that can make Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, and Jude Bellingham work together. Nothing has changed. All 3 will be key figures next season. The new manager should build around them while still making the team cohesive. I don't know, man. Real Madrid fans, if y'all are watching, I just want to know your guys' thoughts, like actual thoughts on this. And it says here, Jose Mourinho remains the clear favorite of Florentino Perez, but it's still unclear what Real Madrid's final decision on the new manager will be. I mean, I don't know who their manager will be, to be honest with you. Cristiano Ronaldo in the UCL winning campaigns with Real Madrid. 13, 14, 17 goals and 5 assists, 16 goals, 4 assists, 12 goals, 6 assists, 15 goals, 3 assists, 49 games, 60 goals, 28 knockout stage goals, 18 assists, 3 goals in finals, and 4 trophies. The GOAT, honestly. It looks like Rodrigo's working his way back, which is great to see. The biggest issue at Real Madrid has been the relationship between the coaches and the players. In the Xabi Alonso era, multiple stars had issues with the coach. After Arbeloa was hired, the stars' problems were solved, but new problems between the coach and the core Spanish players started. Like I said, man, Real Madrid's players might actually be the issue at the club right now. Real Madrid have zero doubts about Mbappe. The only thing the club is thinking as of now is how to convert his goals and performances into team trophies and wins. Real Madrid have to make a decision on Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe. That's what I think they really need to do. They need to make a decision. That's what they need to do. And I have a friend that is a huge Real Madrid fan. And I've even asked him or told him, you guys might need to make a decision on this. Because Vinny Jr., at least to his credit, has won the Spanish League and he's won the Champions League. Mbappe hasn't won anything since he's come to Madrid. And it's funnily enough that his first season away from PSG won the Champions League. That's not by accident. Like, that's not by accident. Luis Enrique got the issue on the pitch out of the club, and you saw how much better they looked without him. I could imagine if you take Mbappe out of this squad and you bring in more players to balance out the squad, Real Madrid will be back competing for the Champions League and the Spanish League next season. That's just me. Real Madrid have zero doubts about the quality of the squad. The club believes the squad is very good and there will be no revamp or revolution in the summer. I really think they need to make a decision on those two players, bro. That's just my opinion, though, man. Real Madrid want to use Kylian Mbappe for the benefit of the team next season. The players are aware things need to change. How can you fully integrate a guy who will now be there for his third season? His attitude has to change, and his effort on the pitch off the ball needs to change, bro. So this is the official statement, too, from his entourage. It's not even from him himself. Decisions are based on an overinterpretation of elements related to a recovery period strictly supervised by the club. This is not corresponding to the reality of the commitment and the work that Kylian does daily for the good of the team. I mean, but when you watch him during games, like, this contradicts what you're saying. Like, there's no commitment off the ball. There's none. And, like, that's the entitlement he feels like he has. And this is why he's no longer at PSG. Luis Enrique told him himself, you yourself need to work harder off the ball. If you can't, I don't want you here. I need 10 outfield players on the pitch who are going to actually run and actually press the ball. Why is PSG so good? Because the high press that they put on you, all 10 outfield players are going to hound you. Mbappe is the one guy at Real Madrid who's not going to do that. He just won't. The atmosphere at Real Madrid is bad. Incidents involving Kylian Mbappe and Antonio Rudiger are understood to be flashpoints, and there was a worrying mood around the squad. There are little signs of togetherness ahead of El Clasico. And with El Clasico coming up this weekend, guys, I mean, for fuck's sake, he's got to figure it out. You don't want to go to Barcelona and then lose that game and then Barcelona win La Liga. I mean, goddamn, bro. Goddamn. So now, we're going back to Chelsea. Xavi Hernandez is not thought to be one of those Chelsea are interested at this time. Who's gonna want to come here, guys? I keep saying this. Who's gonna want to come? Nobody.
That Not a Project CFC, who are the group that managed to organise the successful protest against BlueCo, we are going to have another protest before the FA Cup final against Man City at Wembley, where we march down Wembley and make our voices heard against BlueCo. We're also going to have another demonstration in the stadium against Tottenham. In the 22nd minute, everyone's going to turn their back and chant in unity, "We want our Chelsea back." You're probably thinking, why the 22nd minute? Because BlueCo took over in 2022. So it only makes sense that the 22nd minute is when we protest for that reason. This has just been announced, so I'm sure there might be some following steps, but it's good to see that Not a Project CFC are taking action and not just sleeping on the last protest, actually trying to make something happen and build a bit of momentum behind what we're doing at the moment. So please share this, make sure everyone understands what's going on and knows about it, and we'll see you very soon.
We do understand, bro, and we're pushing it over here on this side of the pond as well, man. The only players we're staying at Chelsea next season. I could agree with that, but maybe honestly at this point you can probably take Mark Cucurella out of that. My problem is, what has Esteval done to be guaranteed to stay at Chelsea, bro? What? Really? Yeah, I mean, he's our best winger, bro, and he's 18 years old. I've been saying this too. The over-reliance on an 18-year-old kid is nuts, bro. And you put so much on him in his first season because the wingers we have are fucking tragic. They're terrible, bro. They're terrible. Pedro Neto, Garnacho. I'm not going to get on Jamie Gittins too much because he's been injured since January, so I'm not going to say much on him. But when he was on the pitch, yeah, he didn't look great. But to say that, what has Esteval done? He's our best winger, and he actually causes problems down that right-hand side. He really does. Chelsea are not expected to proceed with Xavi. I mean, I could imagine that. On Chelsea players losing bonuses, the source said it's mad if any of the players have down tools because they're hurting themselves. Chelsea players don't have a guarantee of big basic wages like some of the other top clubs, and they got big bonuses for the Champions League. So chuck that away. It's literally throwing money away. Yeah. They're literally taking away their money, and they're just saying, you guys don't get that unless we qualify for the Champions League next season. Outrageous, dude. This is why players are going to want out. Xavi Hernandez side insists Chelsea have made a formative approach and is open to a move to England. However, my understanding is Chelsea are not expected to proceed. Xabi Alonso, Marco Silva, and Andoni Iraola are all under serious consideration, and Xavi for now has been ruled out by Chelsea. I mean, if these are the three front runners for the managerial job at Chelsea, Xabi Alonso has to be the guy. He has to. Otherwise, just go get Gary O'Neill, bro, and then we will continue to suffer. We're just going to continue to suffer, bro. What's going on, Dylan? How you doing, bro? Yeah, I know. 3-1 to Forest. Absolutely despicable, bro. We ain't happy about that over here, man. Absolutely not. But Forest B team is better than Chelsea's strongest 11 right now, bro. Unreal. It's unreal, man. But it's a simple message. Even if you're not a Chelsea fan, go ahead and push that message, bro. BlueCo out. Give me a second, guys. So it says here from Khan, who I kind of had to say something about to him yesterday. So this morning it was said that Chelsea were considering Xavi for the managerial role. Now it's being said Chelsea won't be proceeding with Xavi. Right? Did we just get rejected? Did we just get rejected by any chance? Yeah, essentially. He said, "Fuck no, I ain't going there, bro." Why? If I had to choose, Fabi Alonso, bro. It's not even a question. Yeah, I think Mbappe is fucked. The account who accepted invites to a post-tournament celebrations to games abroad and was using his platform to tell us Clear Lake and directors were a good thing for the club now joins us and once a month. Never trust a man who bites the hand that feeds him and switches up. Yeah. And it's like I said, bro. This man right here, the American Chelsea fan, right? Like I've already said, I called him out yesterday and I'm going to call him out again. I don't really care what he says. I don't really care how he feels about my comments here. Alex Goldberg, bro. You need to stop flip-flopping, dude. We all remember what happened after the Club World Cup, and we remember the tweets. There is a saying about when facts change, so do opinions, but you're on record talking about how the sporting directors are actually good for the club and these owners are actually good for the club. You can't change up now because you're seeing 99% of the fan base attack the ownership. You can't do that, bro. You just can't. You need to have the same energy. And there's another YouTuber that I was talking about yesterday, Blue Lions TV, where I'm like, watched his video yesterday, and he still refuses to say BlueCo out. He still refuses to do any of that. I don't get it. When you have platforms like that, you should be using it to actually push out a message. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Mbappe thing is crazy, bro. My friend that's a Real Madrid fan just texted me about it because I sent him some stuff on it. Yeah, and then I went over this yesterday too. Like, this is the same guy that said this August 20th, 2025. I praise our sporting directors, but I get pitchforks thrown at me. Yeah, because you believed in what they were doing back then. And now you're switching it up because Chelsea have lost 6 games on the bounce in the Premier League. No, dude. You've been doing this shit for a while. You can't switch it up now. Keep that same energy, bro. And it's like what Price said here. If only our spending was at the same level as we are selling. And Cecil for 13.8 million to our sister club is brilliant business. The end of the transfer window. So much for 8 out of 10 transfer window. I always said 7 out of 10, but if we keep Jackson and get Fermin Lopez, then it's definitely at least that. We didn't do either of them. I try to tell people, and this was back on June 3rd. I try to tell people in a certain someone specifically on last night's crazy stream that Chelsea are prepared this summer to actually act differently to how they have in recent windows. Champions League change thing. It's not club PR for me. It's just what I've been incredibly told. Mignon and some other names will back that up. And we got none of them. None of them. Again, like I said, keep the same energy, Alex. You're one of the voices of the fan base in a sense, right? Especially as an American. You're not using your platform properly, bro. You're just not. If it's taking you till now to understand what's really going on, it's about time you actually woke up. But we were telling you this shit beforehand. It's taking 6 straight Premier League losses for you to see this. Come on, man. Come on, bro. And he's getting absolutely shitted on right now, bro. It's going to be Marco Silva or Andoni Iraola, isn't it? Yeah. It's probably the last thing I'm going to talk about here. Wayne Rooney, I put a bet on that Chelsea's owners don't know too much about football. They are very good business people, but there's no one there to give them guidance on football. The money they spend and how they try to operate is absolutely crazy. Yeah. Wayne Rooney's saying that. It's insane, man. But I've been on here now for a little over an hour. I need to get ready for work soon. My actual job where I make money. But I do appreciate everyone getting on here, chiming in, watching the stream. I really do appreciate it. I'll probably be on tomorrow. So going into the next few days, I'm going to be going on vacation with my daughter and my partner. And I'm not going to really be on as much, but I am bringing my computer with me and my microphone. So I'll probably be able to do some videos, but I won't be able to do like live streams like that. But I'll have content up during the week, at the end of the week at some point. It's just a matter of when I'm going to have time to do it. The preview for Liverpool versus Chelsea will probably be up sometime Friday afternoon. I'm going to have to record that probably a little bit before I leave. So that video will be uploaded on Friday. And my reaction to it will probably be done via short because I'm not going to have time really to get behind the camera and get my full thoughts on the game, even though that game is going to be absolutely diabolical to talk about. But anyway, I'm Jason, No Filter Chels. I appreciate you guys watching. Drop a like, sub, get in the comment section. I'm on the road to 2,000 subs. Any kind of support will help. And yeah, man, I'm out of here. Peace and love. Stay happy, stay healthy. Enjoy your day. Happy birthday to my beautiful baby girl also. And yeah, I'm out of here.